Welcome back, everyone. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to begin our study of the Scottish text section of your course. What we're going to do today is I'm going to give you a sort of overview of what Scottish texts are. I'm going to explain to you sort of what the different types of Scottish texts are that you're likely to sort of study and be examined on. And I am going to give you a look at a Scottish text exam from last year. And this will set us up very nicely to begin looking at the Scottish text section in detail and to begin looking at the skills that we need to pass our Scottish text exam. Okay, so to begin, make your heading Scottish text. Okay, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to, as I said, give you a sort of overview of this section. And okay, so when it comes to the Scottish text exam, this is part of your critical reading exam. So you have two exams in English, both Nat 5 and higher. One is your RUAE exam, okay, and this is the close reading exam where you use word choice and your own words, comparison, so on and so forth. Then you have another exam separate, okay, which is the critical reading exam. So it's two different settings, yeah, it's two different exam papers. Okay, one is the RUAE, which you do first, and the other one is the critical reading, which is a combination of your critical essay and your Scottish text. Now, what I'll do, just to make this sort of very clear for you, is I'll begin by showing you exactly what I am talking about. So this is the 2022 exam paper. So this is the exam that the students just sat this year. And what you can see is you have an hour and a half to do the exam. And it's in two sections, okay? So you can see that the first section is what's called Scottish text, which is what we're going to be speaking about in this part of the course. And then you also have the second section, which is critical essay. So both of these sections are done together, one after the other. And you should spend about 45 minutes on each section. Okay, now what is the Scottish text exam? So Scottish text is studying a text written by a Scottish author, answering questions on it, and then it includes a specific question, a specific comparison question, which is often referred to as the 8-mark question at Nat 5 and the 10-mark question at higher. So it's basically RUAE with a text that you've already studied. So you spend time in class studying a text. It could be poems, it could be, and I'll show you the different examples of what it could be. And then you practice answering questions on that text. And now the important thing to note, okay, besides this new thing, which is called the 8-mark or the 10-mark, the important thing to note is that the questions in the Scottish text, the Scottish text, the questions are answered using RUAE techniques. Okay, all of the questions basically are answered using RUAE techniques. And the RUAE techniques that are most used is again word choice and in your own words. And just to show you again, just sort of example of that, what I'll show you again is just quickly the past paper. So again, this is the exam that just happened. And notice how it looks just like RUAE. Analyze language, this is word choice, analyze language, word choice. And then you have this final comparison question, which obviously you will not be familiar with, or if you are, this is the only question which is unique to the Scottish text. It's 10 marks at higher and 8 marks at Nat 5. Now I'm going to explain what that is exactly in another video further down in the course. But for now, we're just thinking about the Scottish text overall, the big picture. So the questions are answered using RUAE techniques. And again, mostly in your own words or word choice, which is great for us because we've just spent so long practicing RUAE and getting good at it. So if you're good at RUAE, you will be good at the Scottish text. Okay, you will be good at Scottish text. Now, in addition to being good at Scottish text via your RUAE skills, the main thing that you need to do, okay, when you're preparing for your Scottish text exam is you need to basically understand a few things about the text or texts you're studying. So one is you need to understand the story of the text, i.e. what happens in the text. And you just need to understand it at least at a sort of basic level. What happens in the text? Can you tell the story? Two is you need to understand who the main characters are, who the key characters are. And you don't need to understand every character, you just need to understand who the main characters are. So, for example, in Jekyll and Hyde, you need to understand Jekyll, Hyde, Utterson. You need to understand at least those three. At least those three. Maybe Carew, but at least those three. In Mrs. Midas, you need to understand Mrs. Midas, the poem. And also her husband. In what's another common? In Basking Shark, you need to understand the speaker and the shark. So basically, you just need to understand the key sort of characters in the text, and you need to be able to analyze them in terms of just what they're like or who they are. This basic analysis type stuff. Okay, and then what you need to do is you need to understand and memorize and analyze a number of key quotes for your text. So at Nat 5, you need to memorize 4 quotes, okay, from your text. If you're doing a poem, you need to memorize 4 from each poem. And if you're doing higher, you need to memorize 6. This is for the 10 mark or the 8 mark question, which comes at the end of the exam. Now, I'm going to get into all of this in more detail, but for now, that is an overview of the Scottish text exam. So it's studying a text written by a Scottish author, and it's answering questions on it using mostly RUAE skills. And then it is answering a specific type of question, which is called the comparison question, which is worth 8 marks at National 5 and worth 10 marks at higher. Okay.